I was thrashing around trying to find what videos I want to bring to you guys over the next few days, and I hit on these guys, but it was a real toss-up with these guys right here. This is the Shadow 2.0s, and I was seriously thinking that they'd be the Jordan video I do over the next few days, but today's shoe, it hooked me. It really hooked me in with its story, and it especially reminded me of a LeBron. And I know we're not supposed to talk about Jordans and LeBrons in the same breath, but the I Promise right here, 17 is a classic shoe, whether you like it or not. It's an absolutely killer shoe, the 17s. And the I Promise is all about a school that LeBron sponsors in his hometown, and that reminded me, this shoe, I should say, today's shoe reminded me of that shoe and that whole story of sports stars giving back, brands giving back, and especially in education, which is my field. So this is why this shoe won over those 2.0 Shadows, which was very, very tempting. And then I got into looking at it. It's got a ton of really cool hits on it. One small drawback, but you know what? When you're putting money out there that goes straight into someone's pocket to help them better themselves and do create a better lives for themselves through a scholarship program, I think it's well worth dipping into your pockets, grabbing some cash and buying yourself a pair of these guys. So let's have a look at it, the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 5 Low Wings. This is the Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bara 23 Sneaker Channelです。毎日アップするので、毎日見てください。Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, it's all about the upcoming release of the Nike Air Jordan 5 Low Wings, which is a great name for the shoe. A, because the whole Wings logo with the Jordan line, but B, because the Wings scholarship program is what we're talking about. And it's that program that basically, buying these shoes, a chunk of the money is going to go into that program. So you could just park it right there, because you know what, I feel like helping somebody out. I'll spend a couple $100 on a really sweet pair of shoes, but also buying for myself a bit of peace of mind that I'm helping somebody else in need out there. And in these times, these days, with the pandemic out there, helping people in need is a priority for a lot of people. So great shoe, that Wings program from Jordan. It's inspired apparently by something to do with his coaches, about how they always made him feel like he was, could achieve and could go to his fullest extent, reach his maximum potential. And the idea was something about if you're given a chance, everybody can fly. Hence the Wings name of the scholarship program, and how that is tying it up with the Jordan line, and of course the Wings and Jordan himself. So it's a great shoe. It's a great story, a great reason for you to think seriously about getting these guys. And like I said, it's a great looking shoe, but with one tiny drawback. I'm going to go straight to that first, and then we'll get into the other 99. If it's a drawback is a negative thing, would it be a draw forward for something that's so great? That's because the rest of the shoe is all plus. But this right here is just my one little sort of and it's the mesh or the nylon or the man-made materials that are in the tongue on that, not the tongue, bonehead, the toe on these guys. I was really looking for an all-over leather feel to them, but that toe on there just feels a little bit cheap, and it just really disappointed me, because this is a sleek looking shoe front to back, a really clean shoe. Now we've already had a Jordan 5 Low. It was the Chinese New Year's, and I can kind of give you a look at those guys. So it's the second Jordan 5 Low in the first half of 2021. So maybe there's a thing about that coming around, but these guys are totally different from those Chinese New Year's. They're very, very sleek, very clean, almost completely black shoe, which is very evident actually on the medial side. So we might as well jump to the medial side before we get into the main details on the shoe. And you can see just how black these guys are, and there's just that one shark's tooth sticking up right around about the midfoot area, where you see that gold coming up from the outsole through onto the midsole and into the upper part of the shoe. And it's those gold shark's teeth which we'll see back to the lateral side. You see there's a lot more definition on the lateral side, a lot more detailing, and that sleek black feel of the medial side is now given over to a sleek black side and the lateral side, but with a few more hits in there, and now those shark's teeth being the main sort of draw that draws your eyes in. So now we're back on the lateral side. We'll just quickly go to that midfoot mesh section on there, and you see that it's got very little treatment at all. Just basically clear mesh looking through to a black back background which fits the shoes very, very neatly. And there are ways to play around with that. Choose different colors, for example, put a pattern behind it, for example, a different, color on top and color below and stuff like that. But they've gone with a very simple look which matches the rest of the shoe, and that's a bit of a plus for me, if you're asking. But then the main detail on the lateral side is down on the heel, where you see a bit of branding. And then the picture I'm probably showing you right now, it says 20. And later I'll be able, in fact, I'm not going to do it later, I'm going to do it right now. We're going to look along the tightest angle I could find. This is like if we're on 90 degrees is looking at something in the face, we're on like 1 degree to get that tiny little sleek look at these guys. And you can see on the left shoe on that heel branding it says 20, and then on the right shoe on the same heel branding spot it says 21, because this is all about the class of 2021 and their scholarships that they're going to carry through their lives. So that's why it says to 20 on the left of the left shoe, the lateral side of the left shoe, and 21 on the lateral side of the right shoe. But then if we come up from that, I'm going to go there first and I'll come back down to the heel. We want to look into the tongues on the back end of the tongues. It's got standard Jordan branding on the back of the right foot's tongue, but on the back of the left foot's tongue in this gold standard that's coming through the whole shoe, you can see that it actually says class 2021 in there, which is the other place. There's only two real significant places where they talk about the class of 2021, and that's on those heel branding points, but also up here behind the tongue, only on the left shoe. And since we're up there, we might as well flip it out and look down from above, and you get to see that the tongues themselves are sort of a very deep, almost charcoal grey, but not quite black. But on top of that, you see you've got the Jumpman embroidered in there at the top of the tongues. But then behind that, if we look down onto the insoles, you can see there's this huge kind of, it almost looks like the sort of the thing that you'd get on a certificate to prove it's authentic. I don't know what you'd call it, some kind of stamp or something of authenticity, and this beautiful kind of massive star-styled disc right there on the insoles in gold, which is another sort of nod to that class of 2021, that whole sort of graduate and scholarship feel, that authentic kind of feel that's on the shoes. You know what I'm going to do that now is I'm just going to jump back to that branding on the 20 of the lateral side of the left shoe, because there's one thing I meant to mention was it is in gold, which is the second sort of colour running through this shoe after the black, like those gold shark's teeth, but it's also got a black shadow effect stitched into it, which is a kind of neat feel to it and gives it a 3D effect, which I kind of really, really dig. But then coming off of that, we might as well travel down even further and go to the lowest point of the shoe, which is the outsoles, and then I'll go back to the heels again because there's one more detail on the heels. But looking at the outsoles, it's basically a black and translucent outsole, but zoomed in on the front end of that, the front part of the translucence, you can see it looks through to two things. One is a Jumpman deep within that midsole and outsole sort of unit, and the other is there's a kind of, it's almost like a marbled pattern effect behind the front end of the translucence, which gives it a really sort of classic feel to it. So the translucence on there, and then in the middle, that's the front and the back of the outsole and that translucence, but in the middle you've got that solid black chunk of material. But then I want to go back to those heels, like I said, which is probably the place we'll finish up this video, trying to think if there's anything missing. But on the back end also you've got a Jumpman black on black embroidered in the back end of the shoes on the heels, and there was something missing. I knew there was something missing. There always is something missing. I never remember everything about every shoe, but it's the hang tag, a very special, unique hang tag with the word wings for that wings scholarship program. So this is a really important shoe as far as, like, giving back to the community. It's got a bigger story than just a $200 shoe that you can buy and enjoy wearing. It's got something a bit more to it, and that wings logo hanging on the side there, that hang tag, is a great way to finish it up and sort of reinforce that idea that buying these guys, a significant chunk of your money is going to be going towards helping somebody out there. And that's a great way to finish this video and just wrap it up. So it's a beautiful shoe, very sleek, mostly black, but those hits of gold throughout, and especially that class of 2021 feel to the shoe just raises it up a little bit above and takes it to a next level. And like I say, there's been a few Jordan 5 lows, especially those Chinese New Year's, and it seems to be something more. I think there's also a pair of golf shoes in the Jordan 5 low line as well. So sorry to you guys out there that maybe were looking for that Jordan Jordan 1 high to Shadow 2.0. I really did seriously think about doing it. But to be honest, I don't like to review that many Jordan sneakers because basically people get them in hand and do a better job than I do. So I'm going to just leave it with this. Those Shadow 2.0s, I'm sure you'll find somebody out there like Seth Fowler or somebody who's got them in hand to tell you all about them. But hopefully these guys here, maybe even not so many people looking at them. I wouldn't be surprised if they're kind of coming in under the radar. So hopefully you appreciate my take on that. Hopefully it was informative and gave you guys a look at the shoe and gave you something to think about whether you're going to get your hands on them or not. For now though, it's time for me to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for checking out the content. I do truly appreciate it. This daily content, it can be pretty challenging with a young family. My little 3-year-old girl is running circles around me right now, full-time work as well, and then daily content on YouTube. It's a bit of a tough ask, and some days it can be tough, but today it's one of those great days when you're looking at a shoe that you actually have a bit of a story and a bit more to it to believe in. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys for checking out the content, and I'll just say what I say at the end of every single video, which is I do this every single day, and that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.